Welcome to the Positive Growth Doctor podcast for women. I'm your host, Dr. Christina Wilson. I created the Positive Growth Doctor after years of dealing with societal expectations, self-doubt, and perfectionism. I leveraged my 30 years of experience as a positive psychologist to address limiting beliefs and gain clarity to build confidence and navigate obstacles to achieve a healthier well-being. I knew that pain all too well. So I empower women to achieve confidence and live a positive-centered life. Subscribe to the podcast and check out the earlier episodes so you don't miss a thing. And let's get to it. Welcome to Positive Growth Doctor podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christina Wilson. So how you start your day matters. And there's times where things start to go south in your day, right? It happens, but you're likely to get back on track when you started your day off to start from the beginning. And every day is a gift. And I love to start my day with my son in prayer. And much of that prayer is, it involves gratitude. And research suggests that gratitude has many positive effects for your sleep, to reducing stress, and shifting the chemicals in your brain to promote a healthier well-being and improve your mindset. And another thing we do is to set intention. So every day is different, given the ups and downs of life, right? So setting an intention isn't just for preparing for a test. It's a gift that you can give yourself when you start your day. So this is important because of its relation to mindset. And it's key to getting you off on the right foot, regardless if your day feels heavy or if you're feeling your best. So it can help you shift away from all the heaviness of the difficulties in life. Or it could just make good days even brighter. So in this episode, you can expect to explore the transformative power of setting faith-centered intention. And we'll discuss practical steps to align daily actions with God's purpose, leading to a mindset shift that glorifies God and enriches your life. To find the full transcript for this episode on your favorite podcast app. And don't forget to share the podcast with other women to help them grow on their journey too. And like I always say, don't just stop with your friends. Extend your reach to all the other women out there by just simply leaving podcast review on Apple Podcasts. I appreciate you. So setting intentions as a faith-centered woman, and what are the benefits to that? Well, more and more women are using the tool of setting intention for the purpose of mindset. And one set their intention using the things that they value most in the world to guide their thought and their actions and mindset. So for me, God is at the center of all that I do. And that's because I desire a deep relationship with Him and strive to bring glory to Him. So when I set my intention, I have Him in mind, but He also has me in mind as He guides me. And it's a great way to align with Him. So when I start my day, I pray, whether if it's developing a program or writing a podcast episode, I seek His guidance. And when I set an intention, I do the same. So intention is not just, setting a goal for the or determining how we want to feel at the end of a task. It involves God's wisdom at the heart of the intention. So, how do you set God centered intention? Okay, for mindset, how do you do that? And this might be entirely new to you. So, over the course of my life, I have found that the closer I am to God in a relationship, the better I can hear and experience his guidance. So, a great example of that is a few years ago, I was in and out of the hospital and I was really, really sick with sepsis. And it got to the point to where I was vomiting blood and there were tubes coming from my stomach that also there was blood coming out of them as well. And things were not looking good. And I could see it, the doctors and the nurses' eyes. And I think they're probably wondering the same thing, if I was going to go home to my family. And that's all I wanted to do was to go home to my husband and my son. But then, because it was really scary and I don't scare easily, but this was terrifying. So I went from terrified to this stillness that came over me suddenly and so calming. And it was as if he whispered in my ear, not only are you going home, but I have more for you to do. I have more plans for you. And I want you to work with women. And I just felt such peace in that moment. I can feel God's presence. And I've learned one thing for sure in life is that when God says go, I go. I move because I've learned the hard way what happens when I don't. And so I don't second guess anymore. I know that He has the best for me in mind, right? He has a plan. So I was thrilled that I was going to go home with my family. There was no doubt at that point. And He made that clear. But I was also excited to know what He had in store for me and that I would, get to support other women and be in community with them and love on them. That's wonderful. Um, One of my favorite things to do. Now, oftentimes we don't hear His actual voice, right? Now I usually get a nudge in the pit of my stomach. It's almost like alert. Um, you need to pay attention to this. And I know that there's no doubt that that comes from God. Feel it. And other times He sends messages with a shift in circumstance, or it might be the others that He places on our path. And ultimately, setting intention is value driven with His wisdom guiding you. So, you can get an optimal outcome that's a part of His greater plan. And it's all about aligning with Him, and your values. And I mentioned this before, but we all get so distracted. And it's easy to get off track, right? Another benefit of intention is, or being intentional, is staying focused. And I'm going to lay all of this out for you. And I'm created a guide just for you to do this. Okay. So you may not know quite, or may not be able to, identify the word that you're going to focus on for setting your intention or the phrase or so I have all of that in there, some options for you and also give you tips and walk you through it. Okay. Um, so you might wonder exactly what this means. So seeking His guidance is important and spending time in prayer just asking him, God, what do you want for me today? What do you want me to accomplish? And here's things to remember when setting an intention. The first is, to pray, but reflect on that time with him in your prayer. And then consider what ideal outcome it might be, or what it might look like at the end of the task or the end of the day, because that's going to help you identify your intention. And third, make a note of the word or the phrase that you come up with, and then add it to a sticky note. Stick it in your notebook, or your mirror, or someplace that you can revisit it at different times during the day, during the time period. And last, stay present and focus on positive. So don't let the negativity that creeps up get you. Trust God in the process. Okay? He is with you, and he never leaves you, because nothing is too hard for him or too difficult for him. Now, I included my intention setting guide in the transcript for this episode, and also have it on social media. I hope this helped. And I am so thankful for our time together every week. And you are so loved. So let's meet up again next week for another episode. And I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be blessed.
Thanks for listening to the Positive Growth Doctor podcast. Be sure to leave a review and tell other women about the podcast. Let's support one another. Find the full transcript for this episode on your favorite podcast app. Watch the podcast on the Positive Growth Doctor YouTube channel, and learn more at thepositivegrowthdoctor.com. And be assured, you are not alone on your journey